trillion US dollars by 2023, and this is pretty much what it's made up of, according to Modo Intelligence. Anti-wrinkle products make up a huge part of the anti-aging market, and that's according to by 2018, should we add, with natural products taking up a much smaller share there of around 25%. It continues to have anti-stretch mark products as well, which take up a huge portion of this market, with UV absorbers and hair color sort of also taking in a huge portion of this market too. If we continue to check in then on just how things continue to fare over the long term then as well for this market, where to from here in this beauty segment as well. We go to the next insert, the next graph, and you'll see that these are the countries that sort of sit with the highest growth rate in terms of trying to find anti-aging material as well. Africa and mostly South America, which is slightly weird considering how many have actually gone towards South America to try and find anti-aging products of any sort. The United States itself, certainly, and Europe taking in quite a huge chunk of that growth rate as well, while Southeast Asia, Asia and Australasia as well getting in some high growth rate numbers as well there. Also getting in then onto the next board, these are the biggest 5 players in this market, so them certainly taking in a huge portion of sales, of interest as well. It's not the only ones, of course, but certainly the ones that do stand out for quite a few people there as well. So certainly does become quite interesting to note just how significant and important it has been and how much it has grown over the last few years as well. Now, it's no secret indeed that it is big business, as I've just noted. The movement to look and even feel younger continues to grow with an endless supply of customers. Now, globally, it's estimated that by 2024, the anti-aging business market will be worth $271 billion. Take a look.
Everyone's in search of the fountain of youth, and it's no secret that anti-aging is big business. The movement to look and feel younger continues to grow with an endless supply of customers. It's one of the fastest growing markets in the world, estimated to reach $331 billion by 2021. Johannesburg general practitioner and aesthetic specialist Dr. Elfrida Fourie says South Africans are on par with global trends when it comes to anti-aging.
The aesthetic market in South Africa has really boomed and exploded over the last 10 years, but more so over the last 5 years actually. We're really on trend or on par with what's happening with the global trends in aesthetics. In South Africa, we have the best of the best with regards to treatments and doctors. Our economy a little bit slow, as we all know, but we're still seeing the aesthetic industry doing very well despite those restraints.
One of the factors that are driving anti-aging market growth is growing awareness.
Like anything where there's good growth, there needs to be a demand, and there's a big demand. So the more educated the public is becoming about the treatments that are being offered, and the more commonplace the aesthetic treatments become, the bigger the growth. We used to do basic things like facials, and now that's just not what people do anymore. There's so much more available.
Dr. Fourie says growth in the industry is a clear indication that the market is driven by the evolving needs of patients who are now looking for cutting-edge treatments. With 6.3 million #Botox posts on Instagram, it's little wonder that Botox is one of the world's most recognized cosmetic drug brands.
Like the global trends, the most popular treatment is still anti-wrinkle injections with botulinum toxin. It's really something that everyone can do, and from a very young age. It's also so preventative because we prevent all these wrinkles and sagging from forming in the face, and it's so quick and easy and very affordable actually. Definitely the #1 treatment still. The big appeal of a lot of these treatments are the instant effect. So you come for a treatment and you look better immediately. When we do the toxin injections, it takes about a week and it looks great. So that kind of a reward that you see is definitely fueling a lot of these treatments, and that's why also the the botulinum toxin injections and fillers will always probably be some of the most popular treatments.
And it's soaring among millennials.
We've got the new young millennials, coming in, and because of social media and all the edited kind of images and typical way that people look, they come for enhanced features. And then we've got the group, of the young people who actually just want to look their best, but also prevent aging. And that is what we want everyone to do. It becomes much more doable and affordable if you do these treatments from a young age, provided you have a doctor that can guide you in the correct way so that it's always natural and never overdone. But that way we can prevent so many things that happen in the aging process, and keep everything looking nice, highlight your best features without overdoing anything.
Nowadays, the success of an individual in a lot of streams depends on good physical personality. The growing consciousness among both the young and old consumers regarding their physical appearance means consumers start factoring in the costs of anti-aging treatments into their budgets.
I feel if we do it in a way that you come on a regular basis and we actually take care of the face and body as a whole, and we do little bits of things all the time, it's actually much more doable, and that way we also get the best results. If you're going to wait until everything has gone downhill and you want to come once a year to fix everything, of course then it's going to rack up the price of the treatment, but that's not the best way to do this in any case. If you're looking at entry-level things just to keep the skin looking good, build collagen, anti-age, treat pigment, all of those kind of things, we do chemical peels, which are all medical grade, and that can start at around 800 Rand per treatment, which I think for most people is doable on a 6-weekly basis. We very easily spend money on all kinds of creams and makeup and lotions and potions we find in the pharmacies, and if we just budget these things a little bit, it's actually very doable. Where there's a bigger disposable income and where the patient wants to do as much as they can, we also have to work responsibly so that we don't overdo anything. But in those cases, there's a lot that can be done. We'll never overdo the structural things, but for the skin and keeping everything young and some body treatments, there's a lot that you can spend if you wanted to. If you are on a specific type of budget, then we also make it work for you, and we look at the things that are going to be most important and most beneficial for you to do, to look good now and to stay looking good in future, and we work that according to what you can do in your budget. And then you can say, for example, I have 1,000 Rand a month that I can spend on aesthetics, which comes to 12,000 a year, and we work with that.
Hasina Katrada, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Now, Dr. Portia Gumede owns and runs an aesthetic clinic where treatments range from chemical peels, photolight therapy, and even IV drips. She joins me now in studio to have a discussion around this and a whole lot more. Dr. P, as they call it, thank you so much. Appreciate the time this afternoon on Point.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
So, one would ask how big an industry this is. And I mean, we've put out all the numbers, but you're in the industry yourself, right? So it certainly goes to telling how much experience you're feeling within it and how big a deal it's becoming.
It's absolutely a big industry. Everybody has always worried about something in beauty, starting from long time ago. Women used to put on clay on their faces just to try and protect themselves from the sun. So it is really an untapped industry in Africa. It's not as big as it is elsewhere in the world. It's a huge industry.
Yeah. The growth then has also probably been phenomenal. And how have you seen the trends sort of change as well with regards to what people are doing perhaps a little bit more over the years?
So over the years, not a lot of African women or Africans have been exposed to some of the aesthetic treatments that there are, because they were really viewed as treatments that are not for our skin type. But that was really just because there wasn't enough knowledge on African skin and how to treat it correctly and what what to do. So the trend has been on an upward going trend because of education. It's really about learning and teaching people what is there, what methods are there that are safe to do for our skins, and it's amazing the response that we're getting.
Yeah, look, I consider myself to be perhaps one who tries to look after themselves just a little bit, right? I even get my nails done and get a manicure and a pedicure from time to time and get the odd massage here and there, and I think, oh, I've done jolly good. But there's a whole lot more that you know, that a 31-year-old like me could actually certainly be doing. What is it that you're finding is recommended, is perhaps needed, and is perhaps asked for as well by younger people?
So the skin is really the biggest organ in your body, and it varies from your scalp to the face, to the body, to the hands and the feet. It's different.
Sure.
And people come in with different requirements that they're asking for. So in a young male client like yourself, they would come in and say, for example, I just want my skin to look good. Maybe they've got acne, maybe they have a beard, and when they are shaving the beard they get bumps, but they don't want the bumps, they want to get rid of the bumps. So they come in for treatments like that. Some of them are losing hair. Young men lose hair from 20s, and they come in because they either want to slow down the process of the hair loss or just come to a diagnosis, what is it that is causing me to lose my hair?
So does that mean it can actually grow back? Are you saying that I could regrow my hair?
No, so if it's really gone too far and the follicles are scarred, it's difficult to regrow the hair. But if you catch it quite early on, and then you do practices that will make sure that you don't lose the hair as quickly, and you also get treatments for it, it can slow down the process. Remember, that can be a genetic problem, so difficult to stop completely, but you can slow it down.
Okay, and then men being a part of this process has certainly also grown quite a bit, hasn't it?
Absolutely. We get quite a number of men who come in because they say, you know, in an industry that I'm working in, I need to look young and fresh and friendly, etc. But due to aging, I'm now looking tired, or I'm looking angry, or sad. Please, can we do something that will rejuvenate my skin and my face and make me look approachable? So quite a number of young men are
What's
coming.
perhaps the biggest treatment? I mean, earlier on in the insert we showed there, Botox was certainly a big part of sales across the board. Are you finding that is the, you know, kind of the notion as well with your practice?
Absolutely. Botox is still very high up there, but because we deal with quite a number of African clients that are also coming in, we find that pigmentation is quite a big factor. So we are African and we have more melanin in our skin, and as a result, if there's anything, a pimple, a scar, anything that irritates the skin, it heals by pigmentation, and melanin is there just to make sure that it's causing healing on that area. But a lot of clients then don't want that pigment there, so we have quite a number of clients who come in for that. And another very big factor is that of acne, which is pimples. Because our skins also tend to be more oilier, we get a lot of breakouts of pimples, and when they heal, they leave a scar and they leave a pigment or a mark, what people call shubaba, on the face. So that is also very, very common in my practice.
The cost implications have been one of keen interest. One thinks that whenever they need to do any of these treatments, it's going to cost an arm and a leg, and let's consider for a moment South Africa's economy, of course not necessarily the greatest, but in terms of cost implications, how bad is it, if you want to call it that?
No, so it's not expensive at all. Some treatments are expensive, some not. For example, if you look at it, if a client comes in and you're just educating the client on how to protect their skin from the sun, and that's just education, which is free. It doesn't cost them anything. And then we get some younger clients, maybe 13-year-old who's got a breakout because of puberty, etc., and they cannot afford the more expensive treatment. We have treatments that are much more cost effective and that are more directed to their pocket. So we also have that conversation with our clients. So we don't just give them the most expensive option, but we also give them from the least expensive to the most expensive, but we're still targeting exactly the same thing.
Dr. P, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. Who knows? I might come through and visit your offices for one or other reason. Who knows?
Fantastic.
We'll certainly find out.
We'd love it.
Thank you so much. Dr.
Thank
Portia
you.
Gumede, they're joining us, of course, as we unpack the aesthetic world as well, and just really how things fare in that industry. We'll continue to give you more on the business of beauty. And a quick side note, I suppose I should say as well, and disclaimer, Dr. Portia Gumede is not of relation to myself. So no, Dr. P Aesthetics is not in any relation to myself. But we'll be back right after the short break. Do stay tuned.